Hi, it's Dwyer. GamblersAdvisory.com, a free site. Always 1776.com, a free site. Today is Sunday, November 21st, 2021. To the boxing fans, this video is not about Terence Crawford's victory yesterday over Shawn Porter. As we said before the fight, Crawford, in my opinion, pound for pound, is the best in the sport. We will talk about that fight another time. Note that Crawford went off at a minus 700 favorite, right? Porter, of course, was a plus 500 favorite. This video is going to talk about cryptocurrency. Understand the 5x that you could have gotten on Porter had he won, right? Not that we were on that side of the play. We want to exceed that long term through cryptocurrency investments. Right? Not stop at 5x, but possibly get 10x or more. That's the goal of this video. Let's talk about some cryptocurrency ideas, right, that are in the news right now. Huge opportunities, I believe, that exist, right? Huge opportunities that might be able to get you 5x, 10x, or more. But what I want people to understand here, as I always say, is that you should not construe anything I say as investment advice. Rather, I'm just sharing what I'm pursuing or considering. Let's talk about it, right? Rely on your own research, rely on your own advisors. Just consider this a second opinion from a complete stranger online. First, let me say, I've heard from the Shiba Inu crowd on other videos, right? I've criticized that cryptocurrency. I don't believe it has legs to go long term, right? Right now, you have a real crypto, Avalanche, that has passed Shiba in market cap. One man's opinion, I'd much rather be in Avalanche than in Shiba Inu. Let's talk about another thing, right? Briefly, before we get to the main point here. Bitcoin, as I've said in an earlier video, is further along than you think. It's not a slow and clunky granddaddy coin that's too slow as a means of exchange. Understand the capability that it has right now, the technology that already exists. Rather than be slow and clunky, understand with the right technology coupled to Bitcoin, it has smart contract capability with lightning fast, that's the word I'll use, lightning fast transaction speeds through the Lightning Network and through the Liquid Network. Right? Understand, it has lightning fast transaction times with a network effect that no other coin can match. Right? None. Bitcoin has the biggest market cap in the space for a reason. Bitcoin has the history of reliability. Right? Bitcoin has the decentralization. So this morning, and it's the morning of November 21st, I want people to consider that, like Michael Saylor, the CEO of MicroStrategy, the country of El Salvador is now borrowing money to buy more Bitcoin, right? Their move to have Bitcoin as legal tender has been a bonanza for them. And now they realize that borrowing money to buy Bitcoin makes sense long term because, of course, Bitcoin is going to appreciate against, I would say, most fiat currencies. Just understand, I believe all fiat currencies. So, what has happened? And it's breathtaking. Don't let this moment pass without realizing its significance. Is that El Salvador, a sovereign nation, has issued $1 billion in tokenized bonds on the Liquid Network. that they're going to use to acquire more Bitcoin. Right? Again, a sovereign nation. This is outside of America's Securities and Exchange Commission. A sovereign nation has issued token bonds on the Liquid network to obtain $1 billion in Bitcoin. Folks, tokenization is not a concept. It is now a reality. Understand too, Bitcoin, with its scarcity, is so good at investment that you have sovereign nations, at least one, willing to borrow money to buy more Bitcoin, which of course is what MicroStrategy has done. Right? Once you pay back the interest on the debt, folks, it's all gravy. You're making money. Right? Whatever you're doing in the space, you need to have Bitcoin as part of your portfolio. I understand there's a community of Bitcoin maximalists out there. I'm not one of them. But let's just say I understand why they consider Bitcoin to be the best cryptocurrency in the cryptoverse. Understand too, I personally believe that Bitcoin is going to continue to narrow whatever technological advantage some altcoins have. So right now, people are hot and bothered over Solana, over Avalanche. Right? They're into these proof of stake coins because, of course, you're hearing about huge transactional capacity and speed. Right? I believe over time, Bitcoin is going to match that. Right? Just to understand what's not going to be matched. Bitcoin's network effect. Right? Bitcoin has a huge head start in terms of name recognition, in terms of decentralization and record. The other coins will not be able to match Bitcoin. Whereas Bitcoin, due to the technological savvy it's attracting, due to the opportunities it's attracting, you're going to continue to hear about new creations like Lightning Network and Liquid Network going forward. Let's continue. I believe there is a whopper of an opportunity here. I believe it's going to require your own personal investigation. Right? You know how you go to a sporting event and there might be a singer might even be a celebrity, who sings the national anthem. Right? It could be the American national anthem. It could be, if the event is in the United Kingdom, the UK's national anthem. Right? Let's say some singer is there at the sporting event singing a country's national anthem. You understand that that is the singer's, we'll use the word rendition of that national anthem. Now, when you are in a virtual immersive experience, a metaverse, you're dealing with an artist's renderings, right? Interpretation of a virtual reality, right? Understand, people are hot and bothered over Facebook renaming itself Meta. They understand with all this remote working and stuff like that, remote boardrooms, they understand that we're headed to a more virtual world. They want to invest in meta world technology. Just understand, a metaverse cannot exist without an artist's renderings. Right? You're in an immersive experience, you're in a video game, and you're looking at an artist's drawings. Right? The car you see in the metaverse is some artist's rendering of that vehicle. And understand, because it's virtual reality, that car might reflect an automobile in the real world. It might reflect a vehicle that doesn't fully exist in the real world. right? With the metaverse, you have a whole new set of possibilities based on the artist's interpretation and rendering. So, what I want people to realize that rendering in this digital world requires software, like the software from Otoy, Otoy. I encourage people to research this. And that software from Maxon VFX, Maxon VFX, right? It also requires artists who want to get paid for their work. Folks, welcome to capitalism, right? People aren't working for free. If an artist is creating the artwork in a metaverse, if the artist is creating the rendering in a metaverse, well, that artist wants to be able to support their family, support themselves financially, right? Pay for the tools that they needed to use and the skills that they needed to develop over time to be able to create that part of the metaverse, right? Understand too, in an ecosystem that allows the creation of artwork, renderings in a metaverse, that artist needs to have access to the computing power to create the graphics, right? In shorthand, we call that GPUs. If you're an investor in NVIDIA, NVIDIA, you understand how the GPU market has taken off, right? Chances are you've made a bundle. Well, understand, the people using GPUs need to get that access cheaply so that it is cost efficient, right? The artists want to make a profit. They want to create their part of the metaverse, but they need the access to the computing power to do so, right? We're talking about computer generated graphics here. Now, would it surprise you to know that a token, RNDR, please look this up, right? RNDR, it's already in the top 300, folks, of all market caps in crypto. Created by Otoy, again, Otoy, for a creative ecosystem that Maxon VFX has now joined, solves all of these problems, right? Understand, the creation of blockchains and tokens open a new door, right? I'll agree that this world isn't completely decentralized. After all, you're dealing with vendors of rendering software, right? But understand what this ecosystem does. If you want to invest in the metaverse concept, it empowers the artists to get cheaper computing power and to have a way to get paid in tokens for the work they do, right? It frees up the artist to participate in a much more decentralized ecosystem. Folks, needless to say, I consider this groundbreaking. As the public gravitates to metaverses, right? As the public gravitates to investments like Decentraland, right? Mana is the token, MANA, right? And SAND, SAND. another virtual reality. The light's going to go on someplace, and people are going to say, how can I invest in the process by which these virtual realities are created? Right? How can I invest in the rendering that needs to take place in the creation of a metaverse? Folks, I believe this render token, again, the symbol is RNDR. Please do your own research, is one way to do so that could be extremely lucrative. Right? Understand, if we'll call them Facebook so you know who they are. They're Meta now, right? If Facebook is right, and more is going to be done in virtual worlds, then as I see it, this render token, again, it's RNDR, could jump exponentially. Right? I imagine artists who are already using Otoy's software are going to flock at the opportunity of being able to use tokens to lease GPU computing power and to also get paid in render tokens for their work. Right? And understand, when we're talking about a metaverse, we're talking about a heavily artistic endeavor where creators might actually be able to benefit from having decentralization and more autonomy, the ability to work from home, rather than in some corporate office or commercial space with people looking over your shoulder. So, on KuCoin.com, you can actually pick up the render token. I encourage people to look up this token. They have an excellent website here that explains it. I want you to look at the people involved with the project. Right? They include Ari Emanuel, one of the major talent agents, someone who has a pipeline to creative people in Hollywood. Right? Let's just say, and of course, the fact that Otoy has been around for a long time, is already a successful company, and is behind the patent, and you're dealing with a patent for this token, is reassuring to me. Right? So, if you realize that cryptocurrency and blockchains aren't all about just being used as a means of exchange, if you understand that they could actually make much more efficient a creative ecosystem that is essential to the creation of metaverses, you might find that you've struck gold with this render token. Right? The token's been around, it's only recently started ramping, in part because public awareness of metaverses is now ramping. Folks, in terms of metaverses, I'm sure we're all aware that we're just in the top half of the first inning. There's a lot of room to run as more artists become attracted to this creative ecosystem set up by Otoy that's now gaining other software creators. Right? I think this creative ecosystem is going to scale tremendously. Right? I've bought some RNDR. Right? I've bought some render tokens. I believe it's worth a look. That's how I see it. Let me hear from you. I discuss more crypto on Dwyer 70905.substack.com. That site has free memberships as well as paid memberships. I hope you give it a look, and I certainly hope you give the render token a look as well. I believe it could be extremely lucrative. I believe it has very high upside. That's how I see it. Let me hear from you. I hope you leave your comments in the comments section of this YouTube video. Thanks for stopping by.